What do you think that they're going to do about the Straits of Hormuz there, Jeff?
I think they're going to block the waters.
Well, I mean,
apparently hackers have released video of torture being done in Memphis.
My question was asked of you, Jeff, so.
I didn't hear your question.
It was Doc's
Take a break, Jeff. Maybe don't see that. Right
There's a
now.
beautiful,
I didn't actually watch it.
There's a beautiful helicopter flying around. No, it's an aeroplane around. There's a massive Israeli flag flying around the Goldman Sachs in New York now, with a sign saying "Thank you, President Trump." Just over New York right now, outside Goldman Sachs.
There's two ways to look at the Straits of Hormuz. A, they could very easily do stuff. They've put mines in it in the past, and they've fired Silkworm missiles, which are, anti-ship missiles from mainland. But their primary revenue stream, where they're getting cash, is selling oil to China. I guess like 90% of their output goes there. So they need that money. So, I think they would devastate the only cash flow, or the primary cash flow, I should say, going to them. B, if they did fire one of those things, the Fifth Fleet would be all over their ass, like in a heartbeat. Like, A, I don't think they would do it, and B,
it would be suicide.
Yeah, B, we would just destroy the crap out of all the sites, and I'm sure we have the intelligence to know where they are, or we can rapidly react.
It would be regime suicide.
Hey, how have oil futures acted? I didn't look since the
Oil's not historically high.
No, but
Yes, it's up 20% from a historical low of several weeks ago, but it's not historically high.
Oh yeah,
$77 a barrel.
Oh yeah. Historical high was like what, 120, 130 in nominal dollars.
Yeah, we're nowhere near that. We're nowhere near that, and the market actually appears pretty stable, considering. I think the math works this way. The market raises prices on oil when uncertainty is high. I don't think there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to what's going on in Iran.
Well,
I think the market is pricing in regime change. The market is pricing in a small disruption in oil supply. In fact, the market is also probably pricing in a large increase in oil supply because the Iranian oil has been off the market, right? They've got a private deal with China because they're the only ones allowed to buy are buying their oil.
Is
So the
Israel
market
about to
will look
take
at
their
this and
oil?
say,
what?
Is Israel about to take their oil?
No. If the regime changes, then the oil and potentially increase production because the sanctions will allow them to increase production would be very beneficial for inflation because the price of oil will go down, and when the price of oil goes down, it filters through pretty much the entire economy of most countries. Plastic goes down, and, operating trucks goes down, and all the stuff that is baked into the cost of pretty much everything goes down. It's going to be hopefully wonderful long term.
Yeah. So, given the actual fact matter, it's not shocking that the oil market isn't going crazy because they're pricing in a short-term disruption and long-term increase in supply.
And that probably started last Thursday, whenever the war started.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank.
I think if you look at the actual, intraday over the last week or two, you probably notice some things that you could attribute to specific actions.
Doc, did that answer your Strait of Hormuz question?
Kinda maybe, but no. I mean the Ayatollah dude is crazy as fuck. So, and it's down to his choice now that their parliament said that he has to go ahead to make that choice. So, I just didn't know if there was any idea.
I think that was another head fake. There's been lots of head fakes and psyops.
Because their parliament didn't meet yesterday. And
No, it did. It did, and it said it. Like, let's pretend that it did. Are they actually going to do it is another thing. They're just, quote, signaling. Have they voted to fund, and outwardly announce we're going to fuck Israel by funding the Houthis and funding Hezbollah. No, it's all ad fake. Since when was the last time you read the parliament met and voted on something that could eventually, affect the entire world? I just think it's the signaling. And who knows if it even met? Just according to state propaganda, it did.
Well, I asked ChatGPT and it said that there's the perfect storm going on right now. The conflict in the Middle East, tight supply and refinery containment, summer driving demand, and refiners exercising margin power. Like there's a couple, apparently there's a few different refineries that are down for maintenance right now too.
Well, yeah, the Israelis hit, I can't remember where they hit. They hit a storage tank or storage farm or a refinery. I can't remember, but they did that last week. Not sure why, to be honest.
Are you talking about the nuclear reactor big ball thing?
No. They went after some infrastructure, oil infrastructure. It was either in Tehran, which made no sense, or near Bandar Abbas, which is their main oil exporting facility.
Oh, my boss just sent an email saying he's gonna start calling like us on Teams because he like really misses us. So gotten so busy. Aww, he says I feel like I'm losing touch with some of you, and I don't like it. This call will be very quick and informal. If you have an issue, we can talk about it. If you don't, well, tell a joke.
How is Teams compared to Zoom? Is it any good?
Sucks. Teams is terrible. Terrible. Crashes all the time, can't hear each other. I mean, it's actually gotten better though in the past like 6 months, I should say. But every update brings. Zoom, you get a bunch of people crashing with pornography. So it's not very secure. It's not as secure as Teams.
Wait.
Anyone with the link can get into your call if your settings aren't set correctly, and many people don't know how to set their settings correctly. So anyone with the link can crash your call. So I've been on hundreds of Zoom calls since the pandemic, literally hundreds. And I would say there's a dozen times it's been crashed by some pervert jacking off on screen, and everyone's like, yeah.
Wait, that guy from the New Yorker who got fired is still masturbating on the screen? Who's Jeffrey, what was his name? Jeffrey...
There's several dozen.
Jeffrey Tobin. Man, you can't live that up for the rest of your life.
At least he was honest about it. I'm talking about people who come in just for the effect.
That's just going to be on his obituary and potentially his tombstone. I jerked off on a Zoom call.
Yeah, the tombstone should say, "I'm not even drinking."
I can't jerk off right now, but I want to.
Or it could say I'm incredibly stiff right
As
now.
we gather this year to celebrate the birth of Jesus and celebrate the lessons of love he brought to the world, I want to take this
I
opportunity.
just want to know what kind of business Hiltz works in that she gets people jacking off in a Zoom meeting.
Wait, what kind of... Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not really for
Maybe her
business.
company makes, like, adult
No.
sex toys.
Well, these were actual like Zoom calls for people in groups during the pandemic that couldn't meet, like fellowship groups. You know what I mean? That couldn't meet in person anymore because they started arresting people for simply going to the fucking beach. Remember that? So in order to keep touch with my people, we set up regular Zoom calls. But like I said, those links can get hacked easily if the person who's setting up that call doesn't understand how to do it.
Or if that person is watching dodgy shit before they set up the Zoom, maybe why? Because I have never seen that. I would love someone to interrupt a Zoom meeting I have because they're all as boring as fuck. And I would love to see someone doing something funny.
Yeah. It's happened often. Sometimes you'll have people come in, like, threatening to shoot up everybody and showing guns and stuff. It's like, where are these people coming from? But if your phone number. If your app is on your phone, they can get in.
Will you invite me the next time you have an interesting call?
Yeah.
Well, now that the world's opened back up and Trump is now in president and people aren't getting arrested for going to the beach and we don't have to wear masks and all that, we're kind of meeting in real life. So unfortunately now it's just happening in real life. So we're back to the good old flasher.
Breaking news, China has publicly warned Iran that the Persian Gulf and nearby waters are vital trade corridors and they must be kept stable and free from disruption.
Yeah. Listen, Iran's on their own. I hope you guys understand that, right?
What's that?
The only person that'll probably team up with Iran at this point is Zelensky, that fucking douchebag from Ukraine. What's that little dude's name? The ballet dancer, cocaine dude?
No, Russia and
Yeah.
China.
No. It didn't have
Iran-
nothing to do with it. He spoke lies.
America needs to close that strait, and China is warning
Did you
Iran.
Did you guys listen to people
Iran-
last night? He spoke
Okay,
for
I'm
like
gonna
45
warn one thing though.
minutes.
I just
Okay,
have to warn
but
one
I
thing.
was finishing my thought too first, and,
I'm so
and
sorry.
you jumped the fuck in.
That's true. That's true.
Gosh.
But
it's so
he'll, no, Zelensky has nothing to do with Iran.
No, I'm just predicting. Because I heard Putin speak live for 45 minutes last night. Wants nothing to do with this Iran thing. Made it very clear he was with
that also, but Zelensky also wants nothing to do.
Well, Zelensky, that was
Zelensky
from
isn't-
America, though.
Zelensky's entirely aligned with the West, and Zelensky had a great relationship with Israel. So.
Yeah, so,
So they were gonna help him. Yo, go! Get back up there!
fuck the, yeah, I know.
Put your hat on!
It's the wrong button.
His hat fell off, Jeff.
Someone was saying that there were Iranians, I mean, what do you call this, the country? Ukrainian spies in Iran.
Oh, yeah.
They would stick out like a sore thumb.
Are you guys listening to that? Like seriously, like all this propaganda, it's the silliest shit. I'm like, are we watching a Disney cartoon? What is going on?
The only country that could potentially team up with Iran to fuck everything over is North Korea.
Very true. Do you think that they will? Well, because didn't Trump and that dude meet a few years back?
Yeah. You know, that stupid foreign minister from Russia saying many, or several, or whatever word he used, more than one, countries are prepared to give a nuclear warhead, not just enriched uranium, but an entire warhead to Iran. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, don't do anything to Iran. It's complete bullshit. But the only country
It's funny considering no countries are actually sending Iran even like bombs.
I don't even think, they're not even sending internet. They're not even sending internet. They're not even sending internet. You know what I mean? Like, no. Sorry guys, you're all over
The hell's been a trolling booth. The internet's there, the government just has to turn it off.
She's on a mission.
I'm not used to Hills actively trolling.
Oh, wait, Hills, how many cups of coffee have you had this morning?
Exactly 2, thank you.
You're going like a mile a minute. You sound like me.
I know, because I want the misinformation out there quick.
You're doing a good job. Are you paid by the IRGC?
100%.
Speaking of paid by the IRGC, I know most of you know that dipshit Ben G. But like, I was in Ben G. It's the guy who doesn't believe in any kind of group affiliations, and like listening to it makes you want to kill yourself. But like, he's in like the Iranian room saying, "Oh, the path forward's easy. You're just going to be occupied by the U.S. and it's going to be great." And I'm like, the more I listen, the more I think about what he's saying, I'm like, this fucker's getting paid by the IRGC to scare Iranians.
Not the same Ben M.
No, Ben G. I think it's G. Not Ben Mendelsohn. This is another guy, an American guy. Like, he's just exhausting to listen to. But I mean, I don't know in what universe anybody looks at this and thinks it's a good idea to either do or say, hey, I hope no big deal. It's just going to be occupied by America, and going to be great, and America's going to take all your oil to pay America back for all it's invested in toppling the regime. Like it defies any sort of logical thing. But it would be great talking points for the IRGC to scare Iranians into, being suspicious of the West.
They'll pay 30 cents a barrel for their freedom. Oh no, we'll pay 30 cents a barrel for their freedom. 32.
Yeah. Do you care what a former national security advisor in the Clinton administration had to say whether?
It depends whether they agree with me.
Oh no, yeah, hold on. What D.P. Harris would have done if he was elected president in the same
Could you
scenario occurred?
imagine? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
She would have.
So this is,
She would have sent black and brown pilots to bomb the mountain.
This is Jamie Metzl. He was the former National Security Council official in the Bill Clinton administration. I am not a blind tribalist and perfectly comfortable praising President Trump for bold and courageous actions in support of America's core national interests, as he put last night. Quote, continuing, although I believe electing Kamala Harris would have been better for our democracy and society, he went on, I also believe VP Harris would not have had the courage or fortitude to take such a sensible step as the President took last night. And then there was a great, someone put together this wonderful comparison reel, and I've actually seen both clips, but it goes great side by side. An interviewer asked Harris, what would you do about Iran? And I think her answer was, don't. He said, what? The word don't? Yeah. And she said, yeah, don't do anything. And then they split Trump in a crowd, and he goes, I would bomb the fuck out of them. And he goes on repeating the same line over and over again from a rally. It's hysterical comparison.
Good morning.